chill. Netflix and chill.
I already got the intro covered in the beginning, so I'll have
Okay.
told them who you are and everything.
Perfect.
So again, thanks for coming, dude. I appreciate it.
Always, man. I appreciate you giving me the time because
dude.
you know it was on a whim. So I was hoping
Mhm.
that we could see each other again. You know.
Absolutely. Let's take them back. So what year was it? 2004 that we first met?
Man, I don't even know. But all I know is that everyone confused us as like twins or brothers or something like that.
Then I guess I changed schools and or cities. So I guess what's happened with you? Like it's been so long. I guess let's just take people all the way back. How'd you first get involved with music?
Ooh.
You know, it's a tough question. I know.
It is a tough question, but you know, I mean, since you lived in Calgary, you probably knew that there was very little outlets for the arts in general. I guess country was there, I guess, but wasn't really my lane. The only thing that came and went was The Next Star. Right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Next
like that
Star.
show.
So I did the auditions a couple times, didn't turn out, but then the third time, I got the golden ticket, like they said,
cool.
right? But then they put me to the side. They're like, hey, we might have a different show. It's called Supergroup. It's a new show.
Oh, nice.
You might be on that. So then through that, I got on that, met some important people that I later met again in Victoria.
So you were actually on the Supergroup show.
Yeah, I made it until the finale.
So what was that like? What's it like being? How old were you?
I think 15, turning 16.
So what's that like to be on a TV show at that age? That's pretty cool.
Man, I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready. So all of this it felt so right to me. You know what I mean? So I was just on the show, and then, you know, the thing is, I really enjoy how filming can change reality.
Yeah.
So they made it seem like, you know, we're all these teenagers are chilling in a loft all together, male and female, just chilling, just by themselves.
Yeah.
And I just think about it, you know, I'm like, man, if that were real, the things would be a lot different. You know?
Tell me about it, right? 15, 16? Damn, that's insane.
Hormones raging, you know. How
Tell me about it. So what was the show? You guys had to compete to make your own super groups?
So basically, we started off, they put us in groups. There's 30 people. They put us in three groups of 5 for guys and 3 groups of 5 for girls.
Okay.
And we competed for ourselves at the beginning, and then they would choose who went on.
Okay.
And then from there, they would choose the groups.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we would just, you know, take it as they give it to us. You know what I mean?
Right. So you made it to the finale. You said you made some important connections. What kind of connections?
Well, actually, luckily enough, there were a lot of like contestants from past seasons of The Next Star that were in there. And so one of the guys in my group, Parker Schmidt, he lives on Vancouver Island in Duncan. Okay. And because I just randomly moved from Calgary to Victoria, we're just like, hey man, since we're in a group and you know we're really close to each other, why don't we just start a duo? Let's just try this, you know? And then that's how my manager got involved, my manager Nathan Beswick, and then through him I met my producer / manager Conrad Oldmoney. Okay. So that's why it was such a important connection, even though it might have been a small catalyst. You know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's cool how like things can just kind of fall into place when you have your mind in a certain space. You know like how you want things to turn out, and it just kind of you can look back and say this led to this, led to this, and it's just so perfect. You know? Yeah.
And I honestly from when I used to live in Montreal for a little bit, and I met this artist. Her name's Sarah Diamond, and she gave me one word that was very, very useful for me as to how to describe what's happening. And it's a Turkish word, and obviously, you know, saying it in English is kind of whatever, but the word is kismet, and that means destiny. Yeah. And I do believe that ever since I moved to Victoria, everything has happened for a reason. And because of that, I've just kind of watched out for those signs so that I could follow the path that has been given to me, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you find it easier to see those signs now that you've been getting them?
Of course, yeah. Yeah. And I know at first, you know, I used to walk to school when I was in my 11th year in Victoria, my first year in Victoria. I used to walk an hour to school one way and then an hour back. So I had a lot of time to think.
Farther than I'd walk out.
Yeah. But it was just a good exercise, and it was a smaller city, so it just kind of felt right, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And so it was so much time for reflection.
Yeah.
And through that, then I got to really have an idea of what I really wanted to do for my life past my career, just why I want to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So where do you see it, you know, if you could pick a certain set of circumstances that would be, I guess, your dream circumstances, what would they be? How far do you want to take it?
Well, to put it simply, I'm going to change the world.
Good.
I'm not going to say I want to, because I'm going to manifest this destiny. I'm going to say I'm going to change the world. And it's through building this platform with music, slowly but surely, every day grinding it out, you know, and then through that, build the platform for a larger audience, and using that platform to use, you know, putting it to use. Because a lot of artists, they're not putting it to use. They're using it for themselves. Yeah. They're not really doing much. But when you see those few that actually do something with it, it makes a huge difference. You see Akon in Africa. He's changed many, many lives because he used his own success to power lights for people to see at night. Crazy. So they can sell their stuff at night. One person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's incredible, man. And what does it mean for artists like you to see Canadian artists like The Weeknd and Drake just blowing up and actually doing these things and just, you know, taking over?
I definitely think there are more eyes on Canada.
Yeah.
Even though there isn't as much credibility through the industry, the artists here, there are a lot of people who are looking for talent. But I know that the industry's changing, it's evolving, and we need more. We need more than talent.
Yeah,
we need more than talent. We need, you know, business smarts and marketing and networking. You know what I mean?
Social
so it can't
media.
Exactly. So it can't just be like when you're an artist, you can't just be a good singer anymore. You know, and so I noticed that, and I really want to extrapolate or try to do the best that I can with the skills that I'm given.
For sure.
So I try to write a song at any point that I can. So I'm almost up to 200 songs in 2 years.
Wow.
And now I start doing some Photoshop to make album covers because I want to make myself more useful so that I can secure myself financially. Even though, like, worst comes to worst, I have to put music, my like artist career, on hold for a bit, you know what I mean? So I can secure myself in the industry, you know?
Right. That totally makes sense. Yeah, that's how I see the interview and podcast stuff. It's like, you know, I'll go out, work a regular job and stuff. That's all well and good for now to get me to that point.
Yeah.
I never want to be at a point where I'm not doing what I love, you know, at some point in my life for a living.
Exactly.
You know? So it's crazy. Yeah, there are so many more eyes on Canada too. And, you know, when you're right, like when people join anything, I guess, online where they're trying to display their talent, it's like, even for what I do, I need to learn how to produce audio. I need to be a camera guy. I need to be a social media expert. Yeah. You know, well, definitely not an expert, but you know, all these things. So it's incredible. So you would say that songs just come into your head and you just write them whenever you can? Is that kind of your process?
No, I think my process now, I think the most efficient way to write the most content is, I find it, well, I see that it's a different way than most people write music. So I know a lot of people that go on their guitar or whatever. I just go on YouTube, find a track, an instrumental or some piece of song that I find really good that's like an instrumental, and then I write over it, sing, record the track, send it to my producer Conrad or my other producers X for example, and then they would reproduce it into their own rendition of the song. Oh, cool. So then it's our own product, our original product, right, through an inspired source. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So do you guys usually do that? Are you guys both all in Victoria, or are you guys different places?
So Conrad right now, he's mainly established in LA, sometimes in Vancouver. My boy X4, he's down in Spain. Okay. I also work with Uncle Ricky, who's in Vancouver as well. Wow. But I'm right now, I'm kind of finishing up with an EP. And so I'm trying to get as many producers and people involved so that it has more impact.
Right. Yeah. Man, that's so crazy. And so have you ever been in a position where you're working with a producer or anybody in person?
Yeah. So
Okay.
at the beginning, so when I was speaking, going back to the duo,
Yeah.
with Parker.
What were they called, by the way, before you continue?
Oh, the duo was called Pacific Code.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, it's going to be on a comeback sometime.
Yeah, I hope so.
But yeah, we worked closely with Conrad. We were in the studio, and we usually wrote. He just made a beat, and we just kind of sang some random riffs off of it, and then we made a song through that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do notice that though that is very useful and it helps and it's fun, good experience. Excuse me. I know that it's not as efficient.
Okay.
And I want to be efficient. Like when sometimes Conrad, the reason why I'm here, I'm working with Martin Schutz, and Conrad, he just sent me a track and it wasn't finished at all. And he asked me, hey, can you just write around this beat and I'll send it off to this guy. So I did it in a day and then sent it over to him, and now we're here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
That's crazy.
it's just making sure that like I find inspiration even though the circumstances aren't the best or I'm not feeling the best, or you know what I mean? Making sure that regardless of how I'm feeling or how inspired I am, I put out good content.
Oh man, can I ever relate? We are so much alike.
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
Still alike.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't just like a coincidence back then.
Yeah.
It's a real deal. You're right. I mean, that's the hardest thing for me, is like, to put in those hours to grind. It doesn't matter how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I go into that booth and the on-air sign is on, it doesn't matter what just happened.
Yeah.
All that matters is what's about to happen.
Exactly.
So I can totally relate. So many questions. How would you say you perceive music? I know it's hard to say, normally, but would you say you perceive it normally, or do you see it in your head? It's a hard question, of course.
No, I do see it differently now that I've been studying music.
Okay.
Very, very thoroughly.
That makes
For the
sense.
past year and a half, I've been really looking into and digging deeper in music and looking at the melodies and how it's structured. And a lot of the time now, I find a lot of music to kind of be a little boring. And even my structure sometimes, I'm like, this is kind of boring. It works, but it's a little boring. So sometimes I might do some side stuff to spice things up. And even though I might not get onto any Johnny Gr4ves projects, I can maybe sell it to another artist, because there are some times where I throw down some raps.
Okay,
and
cool.
there are some times where I throw down some, like, I don't even know, like trap vocals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just things on the side.
Right.
But people aren't ready for that yet.
Yeah. You gotta work them up to that.
Gotta
one.
work them up to that.
Is there a big community of artists that buy and sell music?
In Victoria?
Or just generally speaking, I guess, in Canada? Or do you just have to
That
know
buy and sell
someone?
music, when you're talking about me selling my music type of thing?
Right. Like if you have
Okay.
a song, somebody wants to buy your song.
Well, usually how it works is that I get it through the contacts of Conrad Old Money and Nathan Beswick. And so they just pass down the song that I made, and then some people, they're like, hey, I really want to do this song, or sometimes I already have it written, and then he just whenever there's an opportunity, he sends it out to other artists. I'd say that a lot of the songs that I've done have gone out of Canada.
Okay.
This song that I wrote for Martin Schutz is kind of the first one that's I guess homegrown.
Okay, right.
Because my main writing has gone with David Kwiatkowski from Poland, and we wrote together, finished up a full album. I helped write 7 out of 8 of the songs in that, and I was so stoked as to that whole opportunity. But yeah, I'd say it's more outside of Canada.
Okay, so there are people that do it, but it's not like in one cluster, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I think though there may be people who might buy or sell songs in Canada, it just wouldn't do as much for my career.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to make something happen with Canadian artists. That's why we all go to the States. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's kind of what sucks. So though we do have artists, like people looking at us for artists, we still don't. I don't think we still have that respect
Okay.
in the industry, and I think we just need a stronger presence on multiple sides than just artists.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
I want to see, I want to see more people get signed to like Sony Canada and it actually do something here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your home recording. At what age did you start recording in your home, and what were you using?
Okay. Home recording. Yo, I actually, you maybe remember something. I wrote and recorded like 2 or 3 full rap mixtapes.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Like I was recording on like a Samson mic, really poor quality. I didn't even know what I was doing. The DAW that I was using was just like awful, like Cakewalk or something.
Okay.
It came with the mic.
Right. Which is, what do you mean the DAW? What is that?
The program.
Okay.
Yeah, the program that I used. And I don't think you could I don't think you could produce. I think it was only for recording vocals. It was bad, but it helped me write lyrics. Like I was pretty, after 2, I don't know, mixtapes, I guess, just experimenting with the rap.
Yeah.
I eventually decided, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to produce my own thing.
Yeah.
I later realized I'm not the greatest. I'm not skilled in the production area.
Stick to the vocals, pal.
Stick to the vocals, yeah.
So what did you move on to? Because like the stuff like Netflix and Chill and the other tracks that I heard, is that recorded in your home studio?
No. So there's a couple that have been recorded in my home studio. Netflix and Chill was recorded in Conrad's studio when I went down to Vancouver. So I guess that one was in studio type of thing. We actually we kind of pulled from the Weekend vibes, you know what I mean? Just having a fun song, because my producer, I love challenges, you know, and my producer Conrad, he's just like, okay, man, Netflix, the whole term Netflix and Chill is really popular right now. Make a song like that. I'm like, got it. Let's go.
Yeah. And that is a challenge, because it could be so easy for that song to become corny, and it wasn't
totally.
at all.
Totally, it could have been 100% corny.
Exactly.
But I think having fun with it, and not taking it seriously, is kind of what made it its song. You know what I mean? Because just you hear the background voice like Netflix and Chill.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just
it's got that good vibe.
Yeah.
I'm personally a huge fan of that track, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
My whole family loves it.
Oh, that's great.
Is The Weeknd one of your influences?
He was at the beginning. I know Conrad and Nathan, they kind of heard that in my voice. They're just like, hey, you know, maybe try this direction. But through, I think how a good artist is developed is finding inspiration, building off of that, and then branching out through like finding what is cool for you, and then taking those pieces and making it your own, you know?
Right.
So I'm very inspired by Anderson .Paak, by The Weeknd. The reason why I actually started doing all of this was because of Will Smith.
Oh, really?
I'm going to mention him in every interview because hopefully one day he gets this.
I hope to see you guys together.
Yeah. Because honestly, I when I was younger, I'm like, man, because I was maybe like 6. Man, why does everyone in rap have to swear? You know?
Oh,
I see Will Smith, he's like getting jiggy with it. But the whole thing is, like, I grew up on his last album.
Okay.
The one that not many people heard about, Lost and Found.
I didn't know about it.
Like the song Switch or Party Starter, man. I just listened to that like a couple weeks ago, and I was going in. I'm like, oh,
the classic jams.
Yeah, the classic jams.
So he made you want to do it because he was clean and he was also rapping?
I think it's just because he was more than a rapper.
Yeah.
Like and more than an actor. Mm-hmm. He inspires people through his words, and that's kind of why I want to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I want to follow in that path because Will Smith has used his influence in the right way. Right. I mean, I just saw when he was doing a speech about jumping out of an airplane and just talking about how fear is like the pinnacle of freedom, really. Yeah. You know, you jump out of that plane and all you feel is just you're flying, you know? Yeah. And so you need to take those steps. You need to jump through fear to get to advance in life.
Absolutely.
You know?
He's a great influence, a great motivator. I think the quote was, "You have to do what you don't want to do to be able to do what you want to do."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know the video.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
definitely.
Yeah.
That's my parents are super into that, the whole motivational stuff, and they also taught me about around the age of 12 about like manifesting your own destiny and all that stuff. And I gotta admit, man, at first I was like, this is some bullshit. I was like, I'm gonna sit there and think life is great. What if it's not? How about that?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I gotta tell you, man, it works.
Exactly.
Like, how long have you been doing it? Like, did you ever have a time where you thought it might not work to kind of just with the positive thinking and such?
Not a single moment.
Okay, good. You were just raised that way?
Well, my mom, she has always been a dreamer, and it's been amazing just seeing the support that she's given me, being like, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
We're both lucky in that way then.
Exactly, right? I was very, very lucky, just her continuing to help me like that. The reason why I didn't have an alternative is because I didn't have a plan B. I know that this is what I wanted to do, and through this, I'm going to have more opportunities, but this is the first step. Mm-hmm. And you can't let anyone tell you that, oh, it's too hard or whatever, because anything that you want to do to really do something, to really like, when you want to make a change, it's not going to be easy.
No,
it's not going to be easy, and no one's going to say that, oh, hey, you know what? Yeah, that's going to be easy. Let's just go. Let's just go on this path together. Let's change the world. Let's just do it together. It's going to be fine. It's going to be easy.
Yeah, easy to change the world.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the punches that's coming. I'm rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
But I do believe that if you really want to do something and this thing makes you happy, you got to work for it. Mm-hmm. You got to work every day for it. Yeah. There's no rest. You can't just be like, Sunday, I'm just going to take a break from life.
Yeah. No such thing.
You know, there's no such thing. Even just thinking about it every day makes a difference.
Yeah.
You're preparing yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it frustrates me when I see people just sleeping the days away.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity. So that's why I don't go on Netflix too much. Mostly because I think about, I'm like, okay, I'm spending 2 hours watching this show. I could have done something in these 2 hours. Mm-hmm. But I do also understand that you do have to kind of get away from the focus to help you get further at certain points.
At a certain point, yeah.
At a certain point, but I just don't like resting. I want to get there. I'm so hungry. I want to get there right now, and I'm going to make it happen, you know?
Honestly, man, you can see it in your eyes, you can hear it in your voice, and I believe you.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you look like a guy who just walked out of a magazine, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to work for you, man. I mean, it's an incredible thing. I mean, I can relate to it. Like, I kind of changed into having that mindset recently. Like, I spent a lot of time just sleeping the days away.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and it's a shame that it took me that long to realize, but at the same time, you know, I'm only 18, so there's lots of
exactly
time. Yeah. And I first heard kind of like the kind of stuff you're saying about how you have to make those sacrifices of like not having rest and such, you know, from Joey Diaz on his podcast, and he's in his 50s. How do you have that type of insight at your age? You know, how old are you, by the way?
I'm almost 19 in June.
Yeah. I mean, like, did you hear it from somebody, or have you just had this? It's
honestly those walks. The walks at 1 hour there, 1 hour back, reflects, you know? And I noticed, I've done my research, you know, there was a study in the States that majority of people spend 4.7 hours a day on their phone.
It's a pretty long time.
Take 0.7 hours out of that day, 45 minutes approximately.
Yeah.
Take that time to think. Imagine how far you can go, you know?
A lot farther.
Because that's the thing. You know, you said that other interview guy, he started figuring it out when he's 50.
Exactly.
A lot of people start figuring it out when they missed the chance to make the most difference.
Exactly.
Right? So it's about like taking this opportunity of being young and just like absorbing everything that we possibly can, because this is when we can make the most difference, right?
Yeah.
This is when we inspire as many people, because people want to see young people innovating and changing things, because it's our world now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be up to us to shape what the next generation is going to see.
And there's no option with that.
There's no option. There's no option. So it's up to us. We all have a responsibility to change and shape the world in some form.
Yeah.
So, you can talk to one person, and if you change their life in any way, it'll be a butterfly effect,
Absolutely.
If we all put the effort to just try to be the best person that we can be, then it'll blossom into the best life that we can all have.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree, man. No truer words. How does your family and your loved ones and the people around you feel about the sacrifices of time and not resting? Does it affect your relationships in any way? Because I know for me, sometimes it does, because it's like, all right, you need to stop working,
There are many conflicts with that. Sometimes it gets very stressful, but I know regardless of who is telling me to stop, telling me to, I don't know, do things in the real world, I don't quit.
Yeah.
Because there will always be people. It doesn't matter. Your closest relative, they can tell you that it's not realistic, but reality is relative to what you perceive.
Exactly.
So make it the best reality you can make it.
Yep.
Don't settle for, a desk job where you may make some money, but are you really happy, Yeah. At the same time, I don't want to tell people, go for your dreams, don't worry about the money, because, there are responsibilities that we have to take care of, but everything that you do, you can work towards your goal.
Absolutely.
So where you're working, you know what I mean? The money that you gain through that gives you more opportunities to get better equipment, to go places, all those things, right? So it's just making sure that your mindset is centered to where you want to be, and then you'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, man, I totally agree. And yeah, that's exactly the thing. It's like, I even went into this job with that plan. It's like, I am saving this money and working my ass off so I can go to BC this summer and do some festivals.
Yeah.
And do press and talk to some of the biggest names in the music business. They're throwing a lot of things at me right now.
Totally.
And it looks like summer might be the time for that. So it's a great feeling, man. It's absolutely incredible. I want to talk to you about, speaking of these festivals, Chance the Rapper's headlining Pemberton.
Yeah.
Again, what does it mean for artists in your category, at your level, to see Chance independently win a Grammy like that and totally just change the rules? It must be incredible.
Well, it's very interesting because the industry is trying to catch up to that, because people are starting to realize that you don't really need anybody to be successful, but also it's understanding that to take the next step to reach the higher echelon of like superstardom, sometimes you do need to make those sacrifices. But an artist that I always name, Russ, is the best example for just grinding it out. He had absolutely no connections. Like, it's not his uncle was a drummer for, he had no connections.
Yeah.
And he just pumped out one song a week, produced it, recorded it, wrote it,
Yeah.
And he's now selling out shows. He just signed to Columbia after he was selling out in Europe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was selling out before
before he signed, because he just pushed out content and he believed in himself.
Yeah.
And the way that he carries himself in interviews and just everything, that is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
And for sure he's going for a certain demographic, but everyone needs to hear something in their way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
And so I 100% appreciate the people like Chance, people like Russ, who are doing it without anyone.
Yeah.
Because it shows people that, hey, you know what? It can be done, and it's not just luck.
Yeah.
It's not just luck. If you believe in it and you really want it, and the life will make it happen if it really truly benefits you and makes you happy. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
But you have to make room for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to put on your plate, but it can be done, and that's why it's super. I can totally relate that Russ and Chance are like two of the guys, and that's why I'm trying so hard to interview them, is because I feel like it would be so important to have somebody who's closer to their generation
Yeah.
talking to them, who has kind of that same mind frame, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's, I guess, kind of fast forward into the future a little bit. What is your mindset to, I guess, avoid, let's say everything, which I'm sure it will, goes as planned. You're famous, you're rich, you're touring.
Mm-hmm.
How do you fight off the vices that have taken down so many other artists?
Mm.
Do you learn from their mistakes?
Well, I think I do think that you do need to go through hardships to really progress, but it doesn't mean that you can't learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how I learn just anything, I see what people are doing, and then if I agree with it, if I don't agree with it, I kind of keep that in the back of my head and just keep a reminder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whenever I do see artists fall because of drugs or because of women or whatever,
Yeah.
it really opens my eyes and keeps me focused, keeps me grounded. It's the small things. It's really listening to what everyone is saying. Because my uncle, he probably doesn't even remember this, but before I went off to the next star, so a while ago, he said, I just want to say one thing. I don't know if I can say this. Okay, I'm just gonna quote him. So this isn't a jab.
This is an unrated show.
But he said, don't be like Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
and you know, honestly, Justin Bieber wasn't a crazy cat. Like, he didn't do anything insane.
Yeah.
But the whole message was just like, you know, make sure that you keep grounded and that you don't let the fame phase you.
Yeah.
And I have to give it to Justin Bieber, because, you know, he was a baby when he got into the industry. He didn't
young.
like he grew up with everyone watching him, so his reality was completely warped.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean? I'm not gonna just diss Justin Bieber. You know what I mean?
That's what I tell people. They say, if I was him, it's like, if you were him, you would not have the same reality as everybody else. But go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. Because everyone's a yes man from the beginning.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what's right or wrong. You don't really know what real friends are. You know what I mean? Yeah. So though, like, I 100% understand my uncle's sentiment when he said this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I took that and I remembered that. And I remember to just keep grounded, be thankful for every opportunity that comes my way. Even this interview, man, because I've been watching you. Oh, I do my research too. Yeah. I mean, I don't need to. Right. But I think it's really important to just appreciate, like, just the opportunities that we're giving each other.
For sure, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
because
absolutely.
A good interview can land you another better interview. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And for me too, you know, we have a good interview. Other people can see that, be like, hey, this guy's funny, or he's intellectual.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So it's all about, you know, helping each other out. Yeah. And I love seeing people succeed, man.
Oh, me too.
It's so exciting. And one of the people I went to school with in high school, she's in Urban Outfitters, like, skateboarding magazine, and like skateboarding with some of the biggest people right now. And I'm like, cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Congratulations. I didn't really even talk to her. We were in some classes. We shared some conversations. But man, it's so exciting to see people just do what they love, especially when it's out of the norm.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Definitely, man. And I can never understand somebody who looks at somebody else's success and on the inside is seething or is angry. What is that gene? What is that? Is it self-loathing?
They just see that and they're like, I can never be that, so I'm going to be mad at it.
Exactly.
You know, but that's the block. Yeah. That's the block, because they let society dictate where they're going to go and who they're going to be. Yeah. You would just have to believe in yourself. Simple as that. Believe in what you can do. Reflect on who you are, because once you start reflecting, right, you start thinking about, what do I like? What do I not like? You start realizing, this friend doesn't benefit me. I'm going to leave this friend group. Yeah. And then you start realizing, what's bigger than this? How can I change things? Who am I really? Yeah. Through more reflection. It is exciting, man. Yeah. The more you get to know yourself, the more opportunities open for you, because you know exactly where you want to go. Absolutely. And it never stops. You never stop getting to know yourself. So then the more you get to know yourself, the more you can change things, the more you can shape it into the way you want it to be.
Right.
You know?
Man, you should be an author, man. I'm telling you. I'm like,
It's coming soon, boy.
I'm like forgetting all my questions. I'm so interested. I'll tell you, man. So you mentioned that you want to be more than an artist. Are you looking at what are you looking at branching out into, would you say?
Well, I want to do the things that influence people the most.
Okay.
Media, so songwriting is a huge part of influence in culture.
Absolutely.
It's the lyrics that people recite, that people believe in, that changes people's lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? Apart from that, I want to direct movies.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have many ideas, and I just really enjoy photography and filmography. I want to do that because that is another huge pillar for cultural change.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to kind of hit them where in the feels. Hit them in the feels.
Directly.
You know what I mean? Because it hits every individual differently. And you're not telling them something like a blanket term of find your... So a lot of artists are like, hey, be happy. Be yourself.
Yeah.
How can you be yourself if you don't know who you are? How can you be happy if you don't know who you are?
You can't really.
You can't. You gotta find yourself.
Absolutely.
Once you find yourself, then the rest is up to you. You know?
No doubt. Is it hard for you to tell yourself when you're wrong?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it used to be, but now it used to be hard to say that I'm wrong, but I think everything is a learning experience, and you have to just admit to it and commit to you. Sometimes I'm not right, and sometimes this direction wasn't right, but people maybe were trying to lead me in the right direction. So now it's my chance to take that step, or to just fall into the void.
Yeah,
it's two choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because there will always be someone that is showing you the way, right? Whether it be like someone physically in your life or just like a thought in your head, there's something morally or spiritually or whatever that's trying to show you the way. Yeah. And so it's up to you to ignore it, like a lot of people our age do. Mm-hmm. Like they go to clubs or parties, which is fine. But I'm saying, like, instead of working on themselves, they're like, I'm just gonna forget about my responsibilities and party my life away
constantly. Yeah,
those kind of like that kind of thing doesn't help much. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love a good time. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say I don't. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say I'm a stickler and I just do work. Yeah. You know, I love having a good time. Sure. But it's about the intention, because a lot of people, they do it, they party and stuff to forget about things. Yeah, it becomes a serious problem. It becomes a problem. Yeah, you know, and then you're stuck in this place that you almost can't get out, and sometimes you can't get out because the party life affected your brain so much that you're just stuck. Yeah, you know. No, that's totally a tough one, man. Like, you see it happen, and sometimes I would get caught in that, and then I'm glad that I got to make the change where, when you balance it with doing positive things and work and improving yourself, bettering yourself, those moments become so much sweeter when they're earned. Yeah. If you ask me. So I think it's a wonderful thing. I don't want to talk too much. I want to see how we're doing on time. Okay, we still got 10 minutes. We still got 10 minutes. Cool. All right. So what are you looking forward to the most about, like, your first major tour and stuff? I guess it's probably just everything, right? I am looking forward to seeing the growth. When I just recently told my producer and my manager, I'm like, okay, we've done the writing, we've established that we're getting sessions with artists and big labels, but I think it's time that we start branching out and doing shows. Yeah. Because you cannot grow a brand without the support of fans. Mm-hmm. And you can't get fans until they see exactly what's going on. You can tell them all you want, but they won't believe it until they see it. Yeah. And so I'm excited because I do concerts here and there, but not enough to really develop a fan base. Okay. And I'm ready. I'm so excited for when the EP is out, which is it'll be happening soon. And what was the title for the listeners? For the listeners, We haven't established a title yet. We're getting the last tracks in.
Okay.
So we'll keep that on the low.
Definitely.
I'll let you know though.
Yeah.
Hey, we rhyming now. Hey.
Yeah, there we go.
But
Cypher? No.
But yeah, so I'm excited for the growth.
Yeah.
And just I love playing shows and going places, and especially since David is in Poland, I would love to visit Europe.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, it's a beautiful place.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's say that a record label comes to you with a deal.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, do you sign it?
Depends. There
Okay.
was already.
I guess there's so many factors.
Yeah, there are so many factors. And when I was with Pacific Code, there was a deal that was kind of in the works.
Okay.
And it was with YMCMB, but it just wasn't a proper deal. What it was a production deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I already have a producer, and I already go in the studio, you know?
Yeah.
So it just wasn't a deal that we needed.
Right.
Or a deal that would have helped us.
Yeah.
You know?
And usually somebody who was in your position would just see YMCMB and sign it.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I think it takes a lot of, foresight into this business and knowledge about it to have turned that down. You know?
Yeah. So I'm just happy that I have really good people on my side, and it's a mutual benefit type of thing. It's symbiosis. So when I succeed, they succeed. So I know they're not going to just screw me over for a couple bucks. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
They're in it for the long run because they know and they believe we all believe that we can take it all the way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have the skills for it. And it's all about growing this franchise like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
It's all about taking the time. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. So what's the next move? You have any traveling plans?
The next move is releasing the EP,
Mm-hmm.
heading down to LA to meet with some agents, meet with some people. Conrad has been setting up some meetings with Warner, and he's actually going to be heading down to LA to be working with Dragonette soon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
really
so
cool group.
Yeah, so there's some nice things in the works. Always writing.
Yeah.
Making sure that like more than just my artistry is working.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Right now I just want to play shows and I'm eager.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm getting my manager. I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm done waiting.
Yeah.
It's time that
Time to get it going, man.
I have my mixtape out.
Mm-hmm.
I have other songs out. We have enough content. Let's do a show.
Oh, man. It's going to be so cool, dude. And if you guys come through here or anywhere, I'll be promoting the hell out of it.
Hey,
I know people from labels. I'll definitely forward a message, see if there's any, if anybody's interested in anything.
hey, there we go, man.
And I just think it's crazy. And through talking to you, man, it inspired me to go out there. And I mean, I just planned the next move during this interview. The next move for me, I think, should be live podcasts.
Yeah.
Because there's so many cool places in Edmonton that will have it. And they can fill a room with 150 people to do
totally.
that. And I think if people came... See, the funny thing is I got the opportunity a couple of years ago at a local comedy club, which I'm no longer affiliated with. They offered me the opportunity on a golden platter, said, come in here, do the live podcast with the headlining comedian every week, and we will pay you every penny that people pay to come see it.
Yeah.
And I was just a 15-year-old clown, and I threw that opportunity away.
Yeah.
And I think that, like what you were talking about, realizing that you can't squander that potential. I think the fact that I squandered it then, I'm almost grateful.
Yeah.
Because the next time I get it and it could mean something for my life, I will not squander that.
Exactly. And now you're more ready than ever. More ready than ever. You know what I mean? Like now you have the vice and the how you talk. You know what I mean? Like you have everything on the silver platter. So now they don't have to offer you anything.
Exactly.
You just go in there, bop, bop, beep, bop, boop.
Yeah.
Things are done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the best thing is it's almost like a TED Talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like people just sit there and hear what the artist and what you have to say, your thoughts, our thoughts.
Yeah.
Because people just want to be heard, you know?
Exactly. Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, man. I'm glad you came by.
Of course, man.
Can you tell people where they can find everything you do online?
Well, search me up, Johnny Gr4ves, JOHNNY4VES. You'll find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, you'll just keep up with me.
And you'll find them on billboards and your television and smartphone screens.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Manifest destiny.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, bro.
Thanks, man.
The game is full of slaves and they mostly rappers. You soldiers